Benson, did doing the road to the Octagon affect your training camp at all, or did the cameras weren't even a presence to you?
Doing media obligations is always a trial for myself. Not for everybody, but for me, I'm not the most outgoing, the most fan-friendly, the most media-friendly person. I have to consciously make a decision to be more outgoing, to be more, oh, hey guys, yada yada. So media stuff is a trial for me. That's probably the biggest hurdle I have to being a fighter, is the media interaction, fan interaction. I'm actually a pretty quiet, pretty reserved guy. I'm the guy who says, 2 words. You see him all day long, and I say 2 words all day. Hi, bye. I'm not being mean or anything. It's just I'm a quiet guy. So being out there talking like this right now, me talking, it took a long time. It took a lot of work for me to build that how I am right now. I'm still not very good. I'm still working on it, but I'm a lot better than I was 7, 8, 9 years ago.
Now, did the scrutiny of having your wife on there too, did that bother you at all, or was she ready for that? Were you ready for that?
No, I think because we've been together for a while now, she knew it was going to come. She knew we were prepared for it. Kind of not come to the territory, but we knew oh yes, at some point in time, that's how it's going to be.
You mentioned the one part of the wedding planning you mentioned was trying cakes. I mean, that's probably the funnest part of it. Was there any part of it that was oh, this sucks, I don't like this part of planning weddings? Yeah,
well, the trying the cake part was my favorite part because I had too much cake. But then the second part was working that cake off. So it was the best and the worst because I had way too much cake and I was pretty fat. So I had to work that off. That made me sad.
I mean, was there a part you have to, people put together seating charts, that kind of thing for their wedding? Did you kind of stay out of that, or was there something?
No, literally, working the cake off. I had maybe 4,000 calories, more than that, in the cake. I had to work those 4,000 calories off. How long it takes to work 4,000 calories off? It takes a while.
Yeah.
Things come and go in life. Before 30, you have a belt. You weren't proven as a fighter. You reached 30, you lost a belt, but you got married. So how do you react to this? How does it change your perspective, or do you have a new motivation?
I think just in general, everyone, you realize as you get older, you mature, you hopefully get wiser, you get smarter, you learn some things, you learn how to do things a little bit better. So just in general, getting older, getting wiser, getting better, improving. I try to do a good job of that. We all make mistakes. We all wish we could go back and change this, or wish we could go back and change that sort of stuff, But getting older, lost the belt, just trying to improve every day, all that stuff comes along with maturing, getting older, and becoming wiser. You think at 18 you know everything, but then at 22, now I really know everything. At 25, I understand now. At 30, I'm thinking, I got it figured out now. I know. I'm also smart enough to realize that I know nothing. I'm 30 years old and I know nothing. I haven't had any kids yet, so when I have kids, I know that's going to be a complete life changer for me. I know by the time I turn 40, I'm I was such an idiot at 30. I thought I knew everything. I thought I had life figured out, but I'm smart enough to realize I don't know anything, and I have a lot of growing, maturing to do.
Marina also trains in the gym. Have you ever sparred together?
Who's that?
Your wife.
Oh, she does just jiu-jitsu. She's a pretty high level pro belt. She took 3rd in the world in Nogi just this past year. So she's a very high level pro belt. We do train together. She chokes me out all the time. I get sad and mad, and I'm but jiu-jitsu wise, she's pretty darn good.
Now, I knew you were expecting the temperatures like this, but when you got off the plane and you got here, what was that feeling like?
Cold, man. When it hits you. And that wind hit you, I was here before, and it was it was cold, it was chilly, but not like this. And then that wind, and I was oh no. I walked to Starbucks this morning, and I was okay, I'm not. I was thinking about walking to Starbucks, and then going we want to walk one block further to go eat. We can eat here at Starbucks. Get yourself some sandwiches. We're going back to the hotel. We're not walking any further.
Is there any concern about these last couple of days not getting sick, that kind of thing, and any preparations you make to make sure you're at your best?
You have to be aware. You have to be smart about not being sick and small little things. So yeah, it is in the back of your head. You have to be smart about it.
Make sure you wear your gloves when you go out.
Exactly. But not a big major concern like that.
The last thing I have for you is Daniel Cormier the other day put together his starting 5 for the UFC basketball team, and you were.
Where's Ariel? We're playing basketball.
I keep throwing the challenge out. I'm betting on Ariel, so I've seen him play. Cormier didn't put you on the team. What would you think about that? Would you definitely be on the starting 5?
Are you serious? Daniel Cormier, what is wrong with you?
First of all, he said it was all the blackest guys. He said who are the blackest guys?
Who is the point?
Demetrius.
You pick DJ
Not me,
at
it's
point.
Daniel. It's Cormier.
Come on, man.
John Jones can make a
DC,
layup.
what were you thinking?
John Jones can make a layup. He put him on the
You're
team.
killing me.
You're still wearing your jacket right now, or are you still cold right now, or is this just a fashion?
It's pretty cold in here. It's pretty chillier than Phoenix. I come from Phoenix, Arizona. Come from Phoenix to, what is it today?
-2, I think.
-2.
And with the wind chill and everything, yeah, I'm pretty cold. You can say that.
Did you buy this jacket this week, or you've always had this?
Actually, this was a gift. Oh, not a gift. It was a gift to myself. My senior year in high school, after I made the state and I took second place, I bought this for myself. This was at the time the most expensive, like ridiculously expensive thing I could afford that I had ever bought. It's like, oh, I like this jacket. I'm gonna buy it. So I've had it for. I had my 10-year reunion, so I had like 12 years now.
Did you have to
remember
find
I'm old.
Yeah, did you have to find it, dig it out of somewhere?
Oh yeah, I'm in Phoenix, so I don't wear it too often, you know. So it was in my like winter storage I had left over when I lived here in Denver. When I lived in Denver before.
It was the most
But your
expensive thing you bought. Do you remember how much it was?
This jacket was for a long, long time.
That's what I'm saying. Do you remember how much it was though?
I think like 400, 500.
But your aunt's out here in Chicago, right? Isn't your aunt out here? Didn't we see? Yeah. So you've worn this jacket more than once thing because it's cold out here.
Actually, my very first time meeting her, that side of the family and everything, it was for Thanksgiving, like my freshman or sophomore year in college, and I brought this jacket. I took the Greyhound up from Omaha to Chicago and spent Thanksgiving with them, and I was wearing this jacket the whole way up.
And she's going to be here on Saturday, right?
Yeah, she will.
Yeah. So how many fights has she been to total of yours?
Sue has been to a lot. She's been to. She's a pretty big fan of mine, of course, you know. So she's been to quite a few of my fights.
She doesn't worry about you like going out there and getting anything broken or hurt, does she? She's not like.
I don't know. Actually, I haven't really talked to her too much about it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you have your casual worries, but nothing.
But aunts and uncles, they worry. They worry about their nieces and nephews. So.
Benson, how anxious have you been to get back in there? Obviously, not just coming off a loss, but coming off a title loss. Has there been, butterflies in the stomach and, excited to get back in there?
No, very anxious. Ready to go, ready to be in there, have the lights turned on, those bright lights, those cameras get going, have 20,000 people screaming their heads off. I've been anxious to get back in there. No competitor likes being on a loss. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's swimming or tennis or fencing, no one likes being on a loss. You want to be on a W. So time for me to brush my shoulders off and get back in there and get that W.
It's been a while, obviously, since you've been chasing after a title. You've been the guy that people have been chasing after. How much of that is a motivator to you going into this to be able to get to that point so the guys are chasing you again and you're not trying to hunt down the champ?
I want to say I wouldn't necessarily word it in that way, but I am excited to get on the road again, to get my belt back around my waist.
Is there anybody that you fought over that 7-fight streak that you can compare to a guy like Josh Thompson?
Maybe the closest guy, not very much stylistically, but skill set wise and as far as being well versed everywhere, maybe I would say Jim Miller. What's that?
Melendez? Gilbert Melendez as well? No?
I'd say Jim Miller.
There's no guarantee that the winner of you guys is going to be the next in line, but obviously he had the shot. You and I talked in December that Dana doesn't necessarily think that you're right back in there with one win, but that you need to go in there and prove him wrong, basically. Is that still your mentality this week?
There's no guarantees in the UFC at all for anything. There's no, Dana White can say, oh, this guy's next in line for a title shot, but you don't really know. That's not the way the UFC works.
Well, if you want to talk about those basketball teams, we got Ariel here now, so.
Yeah, so we're doing it. That's right there. And we're going to get on it.
Right now? Let's do it if I break your ankles.
I don't see that happening. A
wise man once said, don't be scared.
A very wise man once said that.
Remember way back when, a few years ago, when at a Strikeforce press conference, Josh Thompson said, "You guys have a guy named Benson Henderson in the top 10 when you were WEC champion." Kind of called you out of nowhere. Do you remember that? Is that something that stuck with you?
I remember those shenanigans.
Yeah. Is that a fight that you wanted now after he said that all these years later?
Oh, at the time, I want to say I wanted to fight him because he was in the Strikeforce and whatever. I was just interested in seeing like, oh, why would he specifically name me out, call me out? I was like shocked. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder why everybody can choose. He chooses me. But since then we've talked about it. He was saying, not that the media took it out of context, but he was using it as an example. Oh, you have guys ranked. Example, this guy or this guy, whoever ranked in the top 10. He felt that he should have been in the top 10 or. Was he in the top 10? Or like
he was on the cusp, and he was also trying to build up Jay-Z, who he was fighting.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's just the way it was played up in the media. But he's a nice guy. We've talked a couple times about it. And he said, yeah, I wouldn't mean no disrespect, but just the media played it up, but I was just using it as like an example. That's cool, no worries.
So you think he's grown up as a fighter? Then he's not the punk anymore as he used to be.
I don't think the punk moniker really applies too much to him now. He's 35 years old. It's hard to be a punk when you're 35. When you're 21, 22, and you're a pro fighter and you're one of the baddest dudes on the planet, it can be pretty easy to be a punk when you're 21, 22, and you're one of the baddest guys on the planet. When you're 35, you settle down, you're like, hard to be a punk now.
Just one last question. Last time you fought, you had all the facial hair. You came out with the braids and the gi and the black belt, which was different, a totally different look than before. Are you going to go back to a more normal, traditional Benson this time?
Well, I didn't realize it was a different look. But
you never came out with a gi and a black belt. You didn't have a beard.
I never had.
I know. So are you going to go old? Like, are you going to keep your hair long and no braids and things like that?
Oh, I don't know. Actually, I haven't even thought about it. I'm not sure.
Okay. Good luck to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.